She moved on with another guy and got engaged.
I am the Rod Pedersen Show intern here, Rachel Bishop, and you are about to see my exclusive interview with CBC Olympics host Scott Russell. In the interview, we talked all about his journey, how we got to this point in his career, and what he thinks where he thinks Olympics go from here in this COVID era. Stay tuned. How did you get from CBC Radio Charlottetown, growing up in Oshawa, to where you are now, like the face of the Olympics in Canada?
I'll tell you what, it's been a bit of a journey, hasn't it? I went to CBC after graduating from the University of Western Ontario, had a master's degree in journalism. When I went to CBC in Charlottetown, I originally covered the agricultural beat in Charlottetown for the local supper hour television show called Compass. And then what happened was Diana McDonald, who was one of the first female sportscasters in the country, was the sports anchor at CBC Charlottetown. And she left to go to TSN, and that opened up a spot at Charlottetown to be the sports anchor, which I readily went for. And I got that, covered everything from harness racing to local curling to the lobster carnival. It was fantastic. And I went from there. And what happened was I got my first network assignment at CBC to cover the Canada Winter Games in 1987 in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. And I went there to cover alpine skiing and cross-country skiing. And the Canada Games was always sort of like the training ground for CBC Network Sports. And if you proved yourself there was a chance you might get on with the network. And so I had a great experience in Cape Breton. And soon after that, I moved to Montreal, became the weekend sports anchor there. And that's where I started covering Hockey Night in Canada. And I was there for 5 years. And then got the job at the network full-time in 1992.
Wow.
And the rest is history.
That's crazy. So you've been working at CBC since before I was even alive. That's really cool.
Yeah.
What's kind of the differences between all those jobs and, being the in-studio host now? What would you say are the biggest challenges in terms of the adjustments, or the biggest differences that you noticed?
Well, being the sideline reporter at the CFL, rinkside reporter at Hockey Night in Canada, and I went on to host the Western shows on Hockey Night in Canada. It was a great proving ground to do the job that I'm doing now, which is the studio host of the Olympic Games. And the reason for that is being on site at the field of play is a huge learning experience, and to have contact with the players and all of the athletes who compete for Canada, because I covered world championships as well, and I was at Lake Louise and called the alpine skiing there. Being on site for a big athletic event, whether it's professional or high performance, amateur, is a great learning experience, because you find out how to relate to the athletes, and you actually get the story and the lay of the land by being there. And so you can translate that when you become a studio host. You actually have credibility because you've been in the field and know what happens close to the field of play. It was a tremendous experience.
More from Scott coming up in a minute. We're going to take a quick break, though. There'll be more when you come back.
Hello, I'm Sean McNall, owner of TG Marketing. We are a promotional product company located in Regina, Saskatchewan. Originally founded by Tom G. McNall in 1985, we are now in our 35th year of business. My brother Ryan and I, along with our great staff, have carried the torch since Tom retired in 2011. For those of you who don't know what we do, we sell items with a company's logo on it, like clothing, pens, phone chargers, Bluetooth speakers. The list of products available is endless. Our products are a great form of advertising. Whether you want to give a gift to a valued client or show your appreciation to your staff, We have a friendly team that can help find the right product for your needs. The key to our success has been our customer service and our vast knowledge of products in our industry. We ask the right questions to get you in line with the proper product for the project you are working on. Stop by 1046 Winnipeg Street and view our showroom. Get some ideas for that next promotion you're working on. Let's make your business what everyone's talking about.
The Olympics is like your baby, and that's what everyone knows you as. So what is it about the Olympics that you love so much more than these other events? Or maybe you love the other events just as much, I don't know. But what is it about the Olympics that you're so passionate about?
Well, I think the thing is the Olympics are much more than a sporting event. These other events are really based around performance and sport. So whether it be NHL hockey and the Stanley Cup playoffs, it's a sporting event. Same with the Grey Cup, the CFL, or the World Championships of whatever sport you want to talk about. The Olympics is tied to something which is called the Olympic movement. There are a set of values attached to it. There's an Olympic ideal, which is to bring the world together in a time of peace to demonstrate what is humanly possible. And the Olympics are open to people of every race, faith, gender, orientation, and circumstance from every geographical region of the world. So the Olympics are a much bigger thing. They're a much more ambitious enterprise. And, I first sort of fell in love with the Olympics when I went to summer camp in Ontario, in Halliburton. And every summer we had the mini Olympics, where, the baseball diamond was all decorated with bunting, and torch-bearing runners arrived by the war canoe at the beach and lit the cauldron, which was atop the baseball diamond. And the entire camp was divided into country teams. We built embassies, and there was an opening and closing ceremony. And, it's a real, it is a spectacle. Mm-hmm. That's what I love about the Olympics. It's a spectacle. It's the greatest recurring spectacle on the face of the earth. Mm-hmm. And there is no event on the earth that is as ambitious as the Olympics and aspires to be all things to all people. And I love it because it's much more than a sporting event. It's an event which is about humanity.
The camp I went to in Muskoka did something similar. It was just with two teams, but it was like lumbermen and voyageurs. It was a similar idea. Yeah, it was really fun. We had like cheers. We had opening campfire, closing campfire. We had leaders as well. Yeah, it was really, really fun.
Yeah, well, I went to a camp called Kilkoo Camp in Halliburton, and the Olympics had been going on at Kilkoo since 1932.
Oh, wow.
And they divided the camp into 5 teams, and it was England and Canada and the United States and Russia, and before that it was South Africa and New Zealand. It was pretty cool, and to hear our director say those famous words of de Coubertin when he said the Olympics are more than about victory; they're about the struggle and the taking part. It was hugely important as I kind of evolved into what I've become today as the Olympic host.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the RP Show pre-show. Once again, I'm Rachel Bishop. Stay tuned. Main events coming up next.
Right now, Darren.
Andre,
DuPont, the old Philadelphia Flyer tough guy, was nicknamed Moose.
And you being a tough guy.
Right. But in hockey, when I was younger, another player came across the middle and made the most devastating check I've ever made in my life. Take off the helmet, and it's a girl. So the coach slapped her. Attaboy, Moose. Just like the Moose. And I'm like, I have no idea who that is, right?
The one sports show where roughing is encouraged. How about that?
How about that, Rick Regan? Welcome. It's game day, baby.
Yay.
The Scotia North Division getting ready to kick off round one of the Stanley Cup playoffs today. Amanda Ruller.
Hi.
Welcome back.
I missed you so much.
I know. Me too.
So much. When I came in, I gave him a big hug and embraced, and I just haven't seen you in forever.
It's been way too long. That's the pandemic.
I know. And it's hard because you can't see people, and we're still in that part where we can't go to restaurants, and
I know.
I'm missing that.
I know.
That social interaction, those events, I miss it.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. And good morning to you on a game day. John Ohm. I'm not going to, I don't play with the toys like Rod does. In Paul, we trust. Go, Jets, go on a Jets game day. So we're good with Paul Maurice today. I mean, 3 weeks ago, we weren't good with him, but we're good with him today. John's got the blue hair on. If you got a blue hair on, text the picture to the Prairie Mobile text line, 306-840-8777. Show us your game day morning, whether you're an Oilers fan, whether you're a Jets fan, whether you're a Habs or Leafs fan that's frustrated because you got to wait another day before the playoffs start. Jay is watching or listening from Winnipeg. Go Jets. I got my Jets shirt on. But, hey, to be fair, and Dustin Nielson's coming on today, we do have the Oilers swag. We'll get the cup right out front. So we got some Oilers represented here as well. Jacques Dupuis says, go Edmonton, go. Coach is watching, our friend Drew from the Off the Hosel podcast, and the newest head coach of the Pilot Butte Storm, Junior B, by the way. Congrats, Drew, on that. He's watching this morning. And Wayne on Facebook, looking forward to the big game tonight between the Oilers and the Jets. I know you probably haven't watched a lot of the playoffs, but are you excited at least that it's playoff time?
Oh my gosh, I'm excited for all sports right now because it's been so long and I've been craving a lot of it. So it's an exciting time.
Okay, have you seen the crowds in the U.S.?
A little bit, and it's making me kind of craving to go to an event and a little, can I say jealous?
I know.
Because I can't be there. And that's what I thrive on, is I love being at events. And you guys know that I do host, I do game day hosting. So I thrive off that energy, and I wish I could be there. Oh. So that's my stance.
I know. Can't wait. So good morning to everybody. I know, Jennifer, we put this here because I know you were going to watch it today. So we made sure we got the Oilers right up front. And I'm not a Jets or an Oilers fan, but I got the gear. It looks really great. So it's game day. We're really, really excited. But we're going to get to that today because on the program, we've got Alan May joining us. He'll be here to recap the Capitals and Bruins and update us on that series that maybe we're not paying as close of attention to as we're going to with these games in the North. Dustin Nielson from TSN Radio in Edmonton. He'll be along here in early hour 2. And Josh Donnelly from the U of R Rams will be by to talk a little U Sports football and see where they're at. So that will be great. Dustin will help us break this down. And I believe, is it Reynolds or Jamie Thomas tomorrow, Clark? Yeah, Sean Reynolds will be by to break down this game tomorrow morning. So that will be great. But let's go to the quick 6 show topics because there's more than hockey this morning, Jordan. Much more than hockey. Number 1, Jets-Oilers game day. We'll get to that. Point 2, NHL playoffs recap. Tampa, Pittsburgh, Vegas, all winning last night. That was awesome. That Tampa and Florida series has been so good. And Tampa's so opportunistic. Their ability to just, be hemmed in their zone. Florida will take it to them. They'll play well, control the boards, wear them down, and then all of a sudden, bang, 2-on-1, you got to go. Or bang, breakaway to point. And they're so good on the special teams, but it's still a really tight series, and I see it going a long ways. And we'll get to these games a little deeper. So that was fun. And then watching the Vegas nightcap last night, I know Rod was watching that. We talked on the phone last night when it was still scoreless. I was doing a podcast in St. Louis last night with Joe Hamilton, and it was the Crunch Time podcast. And so I went on that at the intermission of the second period of the Tampa-Florida game, and I'm like, perfect, Joe. You caught me in the intermission. It's great. I won't miss the third period. And, of course, no, we went like an hour because we just clicked like this. We went an hour. So when it was done, I talked to Rod on the phone. He's like, you didn't miss anything. Tampa won, but it's still scoreless in the game, the Vegas game, so you're good.
That's my favorite thing about you is you can multitask.
Well,
like no other.
Sometimes. Sometimes. So that was cool. And the game was fun. Minnie with Dumba getting that shot to go up 1-0, and then Marchessault scored back right away, and then Chandler Severson had the clincher to make it 3-1. So that was really fun. Vegas is back in that series. So that's point 2. Point 3 is the Bo Levi Mitchell comments yesterday. And I don't know if you saw these, but he was on with Bob McCown and John Shannon on McCown's podcast. And he was talking about where the CFL needs to go and the direction it needs to go in. And it makes me, like I'm squirming in my chair. It makes me uncomfortable because Bo, we're singing from the same hymn book. Like when did we become like this? We're like, this is not right. It's not right. Did you see the comments?
I did. I had read it on
Three Down.
3 Down Nation. Yeah. On 3 Down Nation. I checked it out. And that's exactly how I was feeling too.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I understand where he's coming from. And it's so, I think, amazing to hear from someone inside the league saying that out loud. It's almost like something that's almost taboo to say. You know, we need a new generation. We need to appeal to a younger audience. And this is something we've been saying for a really, really long time. They need to survive. And everyone in this town needs it. Everyone in Canada needs it. How do we make that happen?
Oh, I know. So to paraphrase and to summarize what Bo Levi said on the podcast, you know, he talked about an older generation of fans and a disconnect with the younger generation. He says, going around Calgary, he sees, 1 or 2 vehicles with the Calgary Stampeders logo on the window, and it's all an older generation and no young people following the team. And, he talked about what the NFL does well with the video games and the betting and on to engage a younger demographic, and the CFL's not doing that. And he says, we can't be scared of joining the XFL or looking at other ways to grow the game. But he did say he loves the game. And the 100-year history and everything else is wonderful. And he said we need to protect the game. But we need to look at ways to grow. And if we keep doing what we've always done, we're going to stay the same. So I think it's amazing. But, Bo, we're on the same page. We're speaking the same language. Yeah. Whether we like each other or not. And not that I don't have anything with Bo. Rod does. But he's right.
He's so right. And I know it is scary for a lot of these people that are in charge. I know it's an older generation. It's an all boys club. And that's why I want to push myself in the CFL to help make a change. Like even with social media, they could be utilizing Twitch more. And I know that sounds crazy, but in the NFL, there's a lot of NFL guys that are on Twitch streaming video games, and that is appealing to a younger crowd. And I know some people are asking, what is that? What's going on? What is Twitch? But that is the problem. We need to appeal to that younger crowd. TikTok, Twitch. We need to do something different. We need to get them out in the community a little bit more to help with fundraisers, just more stuff.
Yeah.
And it needs to come from maybe a younger mind, a younger mindset. I hate to say that, guys, but that's my stance on it.
I agree. And yeah, I mean, he's right. And those NFL players, they get to play themselves in a video game. They get to follow along on social media, the fantasy sports. So that's where Bo's going, and it's making news across the Canadian Football League where the players are at. Nicholas, watching on YouTube, where is Rod Pedersen? Well, Rod is away this week. He'll be back Tuesday. We don't have a show Monday because of the long weekend. He's back on Tuesday. Rod is not on vacation. Rod is working on his other business, which is the recovery coaching side. If you don't know, Rod is a sober coach and a recovery coach, and he's working on upgrading his certification. He's in a conference, and that's happening every morning throughout this week. So he'll check in from time to time. And actually, it's not on my quick six, and I didn't even tell these guys. The Ultra update, if we can, we've got comments from Rod on this whole CFL news and everything that's going on that we're going to get to here in the quick six. We're going to have Rod's comments coming up a little later on in the Ultra update, so stay tuned for that. We'll get some thoughts from Rod. Mike Blackbird's watching. Yes, Twitch is going to be the new platform for leagues, especially minor and amateur sports. You need to adapt, absolutely. But moving on, point 4, Bob Young leftovers. If you remember yesterday, Bob Young, the caretaker, the owner of the Hamilton Tiger Cats, coming out saying the CFL is going to play and guaranteeing that the Tiger Cats are going to play football this season. There's the tweet from yesterday from Bob Young. He said, even if the other teams aren't going to play, we are going to play. And my summary on that yesterday was, this looks a lot like Bob Young's going rogue. Like, they were around the boardroom table and, you know, we don't have a date and we haven't released a schedule, although I'm sure that they have all seen versions of it. And you've got owners who want to play, like Bob Young, saying, we want to play. I'm ready to pay to play. Let's go. And they're like, nah, we don't want to play. We're not consensus. There's no unanimous decision here. And it feels like Bob Young went rogue and said, fine, I'm going to social media. I want to play. So when they say we're not going to play and we finally cancel the season, I want you to know, Canadian football fans, that I love you and I wanted to play. And the Tie Cats wanted to play. So we're not the ones holding it back. That's how it felt to me. Because we know Bob Young loves the Canadian Football League. And he's such a great part of the Canadian Football League. But Mark Godey, and I hope I pronounced that right, he's the CEO of the Red Blacks, of the Ottawa Sports Group that owns the team. And he doubled down in the comment and said, we're with you. We're with you. We want to play too. So now we've got 2.
It only takes one. It takes one person to speak out and make it known, because that's courage. That's brave to be able to go out there and put your opinion out there, because not everybody's going to like it. Yeah,
you know, you're absolutely right. And I just wanted to pull something else up here, but you've got 2.
Yeah.
And Scott Moe, the Premier of Saskatchewan, saying we may have full stadiums by the end of the summer. And then Craig Dickinson replying to the 3 Down tweet saying, I believe we're going to play in August. Mm-hmm. You got 3. You see, when we talk about this on a daily basis, I know it feels sometimes negative, like we're piling on the Canadian Football League, or, you know, when we're doubtful they're going to play. And you'll see in Rod's commentary coming up later on, you know, he still is on the belief that I'll believe it when I see it. And so will I. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to plan my summer around the Canadian Football League yet. But things change quickly, really quickly. And we don't live in the same world we lived in yesterday or 2 weeks ago or a month ago, right? And a month from now, things could look completely different, right? So I'm starting to be turned a little bit by these owners, which I wouldn't have believed would ever be the case, right? We've kind of hammered on them a little bit, but they haven't played. So I think we've been fair. But now Bob Young, now Mark in Ottawa, that's 2. Craig Dickinson, right? We haven't heard from Craig Reynolds on this, but Craig Dickinson's 3, right? Who's going to be 4? 4 turns to 5. Now you've got a majority. And then all of a sudden, and it's public pressure too, now we'll know the guys who are behind the scenes saying, we don't want to spend the money. We don't want to spend the money. We'll know them. And will the public pressure be enough for them to say, fine, I'll spend the money? The PR, would that be enough to say, fine, I'll spend the money? This just got really interesting over the last 24 hours.
Exactly.
Like,
it's making me hopeful, to be honest.
Do you think they'll play?
Yeah, now I do. I mean, obviously I was questioning it, and it's hard to work. So I work with a few of the CFL athletes, and me just even asking them, like, what do you think? They have no idea. They have no idea, and that hurts me trying to help them. Sorry, I am a speed coach, and I help prepare some of the CFL athletes for the season. And how can I help them when they don't know if there's going to be a season? But stuff like this makes them more hopeful and wanting to train and wanting to get better, because okay, now I can play. Now I'm not stuck in this limbo universe. And as an athlete, I have been stuck there as well. There's no competitions for me, especially no in-person competitions for me for Olympic lifting. But these guys, I really, really feel for them. There's a lack of motivation for training, and it's hard to get them there and ready to go. But now people are saying, you know what, let's go. Let's make this happen. They're ready. They're like, you know what, let's amp it up. Let's get return to play. Let's get going.
Let's play. Man, they're fired up in the comments section, too. John Ohm says, Bob Young, is a great owner for the CFL. He could single-handedly pay the bills in the CFL. But it's not a charity yet. But, yes, Wayne Grollo, good for Bob Young. We need more owners showing where they stand. You know, if he does it on his own, now Mark steps up. You got 2, Craig 3. You start getting more and more guys on board. It works. If Bob says it, nobody backs him up. He's kind of going rogue against the group, and it doesn't come off that well. But, hey, this is starting to trend in the right direction, at least in the short term. But, hey, it still may go the other way. Jeff Kabilas in Winnipeg's really pumped that you're here, by the way, Amanda. He says, OMG.
Awesome.
It's Amanda. Woohoo. So there you go.
I'm so happy to be back. Yeah, it's been so long since I've been on the show, and I really, really missed it. And I'm happy that I'm here, and I'm able to be here in person. Because last time you had me talking about wrestling.
Yes.
Remember? WWE,
yes.
But I was at home, so I wasn't able to be here.
That's right. What do we got here in the comments section? Jeff the Stamps. I would say all points to that being the root of it at Leaps. Perhaps it's morphed into more. What's he talking about? I'm not really sure.
I don't know.
Larry Dye on Facebook says, let's go with a 6-team season. Well, that won't happen. It has to be all or nothing.
Yeah.
But we're starting to see things turn a little bit, and we'll see if the pressure continues to build on that. Lauren Smith, the privately owned CFL teams have been wanting to play all along. The publicly owned teams have made the same commitments, or haven't made the same commitments. I don't know. I might think it might be the opposite, because the privately owned teams are the real businessmen, and they're the ones who don't really want to lose money. I would think, again, not being in those boardroom meetings, I really don't know. I know we're running out of time here in the warm-up for the Four Seasons Sports Palace. 0.5, Montreal Canadiens allowing 2,500 fans in the building by May 28th. Next week, they're allowing 2,500 fans, which is about 12% of capacity of the arena, which is the biggest in the National Hockey League. That would be Game 6 of the Leafs and Habs first-round series, if they go that far. And it prompted a statement, which is point 6 by the Montreal Alouettes. The Alouettes are very encouraged by the announcements made by the provincial government on Tuesday, which are consequent with the ongoing discussions the organization has had with the public health officials these past weeks. Since the presence of a certain number of fans in the stands is essential for the Alouettes to return to play, today's announcement is a step in the right direction, considering that the team's first game in Montreal would most likely be in September. It goes without saying the organization is also extremely happy that youngsters will be able to practice their favorite team sport once again. That's from the Montreal Alouettes. 2,500 fans. That's big.
That's huge.
The Alouettes doubling down, saying they're playing supposedly in September, so that's a little sneak peek into the schedule. Man, there's a lot to chew on here, but we're out of time in the warm-up. Alan May is in next. We're back to hockey for a look back at last night's action in the National Hockey League, and we'll take a look back on what's going on in the Capitals and Bruins series with Alan May. You're watching The Rod Pedersen Show here on Rod's Week Off on Game Plus TV, Facebook, and YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio. For Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Stars, you're dispatched to a scene call. The patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept the mission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Get your early bird tickets by June 24th for a chance to win a truck, trailer, toys, and cash. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Hey, honey, can you get one of the kids to show me how this Twitter thing works? Honey, I need to get on Instagram. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
All right, welcome back to the Rod Pedersen Show. It's Rod's week off. So Darren Dupont here. Amanda Ruller's joined us here for a Wednesday coffee get-together. Caliber Coffee is hot and ready to roll on a Oilers and Jets game day. Game one, Scotia North Division gets rolling. Do you guys want to do that picture of John Ohm right now before we get Alan Mayen, or do you want to do it after? We'll do it after. Thanks. John sent in the photo, blue hair. So we're going to show you that in a little bit. We're going to get to this Oilers and Jet series. But it's also game day for the Washington Capitals and the Boston Bruins. And that's where we go now to Alan May from NBC Sports. Good morning, Alan. How are you?
I get bedhead, but I'm doing good.
Hey, it looks amazing. You got the tracksuit on. I went with the same thing this morning. Are you in Boston for game 3 then at the hotel?
No, you know what? With the travel protocols, none of the broadcasters with the teams have traveled all season long. So you're only at the buildings when it's a home game. So it's completely different. It feels so bizarre right now once again. But I'm just happy we're playing. We're really happy that we've got these games on, and it's kind of a normal year right now as far as hockey months and everything.
Absolutely. So what was the atmosphere like in Washington for the first couple of games? You were in the building.
Well, absolutely rabid. And, people have been dying to get out and cheer for their teams. And, it's a lot better. And I think people are cheering louder. And then you mix a little bit of the arena noise that we've all heard in the broadcast throughout. And it's actually added to an insane atmosphere. I'm kind of jealous of what they're doing down in Carolina. It looks like whatever the rules are down there, they're kind of manipulated them. So they've got 12,000 people in the building, but they're all in the lower bowl below the suite levels. And it's a hard place to play normally. I can't imagine right now with the black curtain up top, the noise in there. To me, it's been one of the loudest arenas in memory. When we played in the playoffs a couple seasons back, I was yelling. You get the noise-canceling headphones, your microphone. I was literally yelling to be overheard on the broadcast. And you could just feel the energy. It was just bouncing off. You could feel it in your feet. So they've got a huge advantage right now. That advantage might get them all the way to the Stanley Cup Finals.
I'm with you. It might. I mean, it just gives you chills to watch it. What's the capacity in Washington right now?
I think we're 5,333 for a couple more weeks. Yeah.
So what happens? Like, what's it? So is it going to go up to 12, like to try and match, or where's it going to go?
With us right now, I think on June 11th, the mayor here is kind of like the prime minister of Washington, D.C., basically. She's got her own country, or appears to think she does. And she said June 11th, everything's 100%. Now, I don't know if there's going to be a bias towards, the sporting events that are in there. The Washington Wizards are still in the playoffs right now. We're in the playoffs. And if the Capitals can get to the second round and get to that point, it's going to be at least half of the crowd, the fans. And then it's going to be a matter of who wants to go, who's going to, everyone seems to be vaccinated in my world, anyways, down here in the United States, wherever whether I'm between Texas where I live or here in D.C., everyone that I know is vaccinated. So it'll be interesting where we go with all that. But if it goes to 100%, I think the players are going to absolutely love it. And the physical play that we've seen in this series, and I heard Boston's going 100% capacity June 1st. It could be some wild games because the players, they get a lot of juice from the fans. And, I think they now realize how important it is to have your crowd in the buildings and how much you gain off of it. And who doesn't like to be at a playoff performance in any sport and sold out. And, the fans, I think that American fans they give it a little bit more. Beer's a little bit cheaper down here. They get after it. And it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, kind of like back home, but it's a whole different world down here at the sporting events. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I bet. And if, watching or just studying, human behavior in this pandemic has kind of taught me anything, you won't have a problem finding people to fill the building. You won't. They'll go, and that'll be awesome. Nelson Vo's watching, our content creator, and he's got one of my questions too. If we'll get into the hockey now, I want to get to Craig Anderson here in a second, but he's asking about Ilya Samsonov and the situation in goal there. Do you think there's a chance he comes back? What's the situation right now? Because we haven't heard much, if anything.
Well, I wouldn't play him tonight, and I don't think he will play tonight. And with Samsonov, he kind of came into the season somewhat out of shape. His conditioning wasn't where they wanted him. And, last year he had an ATV accident during the offseason. Then he missed, the summer hockey or Stanley Cup playoffs in August and September. He missed all of that. He gets on the ice here. He was training, but he wasn't in the type of condition that they wanted. It took a while, and then he goes on the COVID list. He was gone 6 weeks when he went on the COVID protocol list. He went 6 weeks between games, came back, looked all right, but not all the way. His conditioning still wasn't there. And just as he started to look really good, he breaks team protocol, and then, the contact tracing, all of that allegedly is why he was out. So apparently he didn't have COVID a second time, but he just gets back on the ice. I think it was Sunday. It was a non-game day. He gets back on the ice. So I don't think you can play him. The goaltenders now in the National Hockey League, most people wouldn't believe what goes on with the training and conditioning of the goaltenders. It's bizarre. And I know I was always a fitness freak my entire life. And I played, when I first got to the NHL, there were a lot of beer bellies from hanging out the lake and drinking beer, water skiing, playing golf every day for a lot of the older guys. And, you'd have 2 a days to, because guys would go in there and burn fat. And there was a reason that training camps were so awful back then, because guys were dropping 30, 40, and sometimes like say 50 pounds to get in shape. Now you're expected to be in tip-top condition all season long. All these guys are built like kind of bulkier tennis players. They're not like when I played, the guys were built like V's and had the little legs. Now it's all legs and core. But you get to the goaltenders in this long-winded explanation, and they just get pummeled like you wouldn't believe. And then if you had Mitch Korn ever in your organization, it's a whole other level what they do in the on-ice training. And I know any goaltender that I played with, with say the exception of Bill Ranford throughout my career, junior all the way through the different levels of pro, would be on the IR after one training session on the ice, the way goalies train now. And people have a hard time to believe, but what they do with the medicine balls and everything on the ice, and being down in your in your crouch position, your butterfly, going side to side for a half hour nonstop. The conditioning's phenomenal, and it's tough, it's hard, and I don't think Samsonov is anywhere near there yet. Now, saying that, I don't know if he trained at home, if he got a bike, if he got a treadmill to keep the cardio levels going. Hopefully he did, because you're not allowed to do any of that. He wasn't allowed to the facilities, but hopefully he did that. And if he did, he'll be closer to say, I go with Anderson. You continue to roll with Anderson until if he falters. The other night, I don't think he faltered. He had 48 shots. He stopped 44 of them.
Oh, yeah.
And there was way too many high-grade, high-danger, point-blank chances that should have been in net. So I say you stick with him, and then if Samsonov is ready, if he doesn't look like he's going to fatigue, then you can throw him in, maybe game 4, game 5. But right now, I go with Craig Anderson tonight.
Well, and how about that, right? You just talked about the young players, and they're always in shape, but it's Mike Smith tonight for Edmonton, and it's Craig Anderson turning back the clock for Washington. And, the text messages that came into the show, or the tweets that came in, from fans who maybe don't follow the Capitals as closely as you do, obviously, saying that's where Craig Anderson is, hey, when he comes into net halfway through that game. But he's looking like Craig Anderson of old.
Well, his attitude, you think of it, he didn't get to train in Canada. The restrictions that they had, he lives in that Ottawa region. He wasn't able to get on the ice. So when he got down here, he'd maybe been on the ice once or twice after he signed just a tryout agreement. So he wasn't guaranteed anything. And they knew they had to get him in shape. They had a long-term plan because we had Henrik Lundqvist. I was hoping Henrik Lundqvist was going into his third game tonight in the playoffs when it all started. What a story that would have been. But Craig gets here. He goes into first game, he goes in relief, and then it was during that situation with Samsonov out the first time. And then finally, after, I forget how many starts that Vanacek had in a row, they give Craig a start and kick some ass. So he gets 2 full games. He got a week ago, Saturday, I guess, whatever it was, against the second last regular season game against the Flyers, and he came in and was phenomenal. And then, so two games of regular season, 2 periods in relief during the regular season, and he was on the taxi squad almost the entire time playing 3-on-3 hockey. And his attitude, he's here without his family. He's living in, I think, like a residence inn or something like that. You can walk around here a little more. You can actually go out and eat, but still, it's got to be tough. And you know what? His attitude was great. And I guess he'd go out in the 3-on-3 games one day, and he'd say, today I'm a stand-up goalie. I'm going 1970s goalie style, Pete Peters. And then the next day he'd be a flopper like Kelly Harudi. So he was having fun with it, keeping his body ready. The guys love him. His attitude's impeccable. So he's a feel-good story. And I'm hoping that he can get himself another win here and keep this team rolling, because the Boston Bruins got a lot of firepower.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the game tonight. But before we let you go, and questions are coming in here because Canadian sports fans are seeing these crowds in the U.S., and they're instantly looking ahead and saying, we're going to be at a massive disadvantage when we get to the Final Four. Well, we're not going to be traveling across the border, right? What are we hearing about what the NHL is planning for the Final Four?
Well, first of all, the teams up there have to stay COVID-free, and they've got to continue to stick to it. And I know Canada's going through hell right now, and there's nowhere near enough vaccinations and vaccinated people, and that to me is incredibly sad. And, especially down here, I could fly to Texas and go anywhere and get a shot right now if I needed one. You could go on my phone and an app and find anywhere to go and get one. And I can pick and choose between what vax I want. So you have that. What will happen, I do believe, is that the Canadian teams are going to have to come south of the border and maybe stay south of the border. The protocols that the NHL has displayed have been incredible. And I don't know how it creeps into your teams, but, people do go home, their families, if they go to the grocery, I don't know how people are getting it when they get it. There's no exact science to that. But I have a feeling the Canadian teams, if anything happens in the next couple of rounds with any breakouts, they'll just come down here. They'll be able to get vaccinated. They're not jumping any lines if they do so. But it's going to be, because America, you're going to come in on your flight, you stay on your bus, it's going to be completely disinfected, it's going to be a healthy environment. You're going to go to your hotel, stay in your room, eat in your room, get on the bus, go to the arena, limit your contact, and you're going to get the hell out of there as soon as the games are over. So right now, I would expect that the Canadian teams will not be playing at home in the third round. Right now, I would say that's the way it goes, because I quit watching the news and reading it about last June. I was so sick of what was going on down here. So I'm kind of behind on all this. So I get all my information from people within the NHL. And so that's where I'm going with that. And I think it'd be kind of cool if the Edmonton Oilers, say, came out of Canada and they got to set up home shop in Dallas. They playing in front of 12, 15,000 people, getting to watch McDavid and Draisaitl.
That'd be awesome.
It could be pretty amazing.
Not that they're hotbeds. I say put them in Palm Springs or put them in Phoenix, because you'd have enough Canadians down there to fill the building anyway. It'd be perfect.
Hey, my neighborhood in Dallas has a lot of people that came down in the tech boom in the 90s from Eastern Canada. I won't hold that against them, but there are a lot of hockey fans down there. And Connor McDavid, I think people would go in. The arena can be kept closed for the most part. It can be really cold and chilly, and they could do a pretty good job. They pulled it off during last summer, and I just think that there's a way to do this, and people would go to the games. And Connor McDavid, they could sell that. People want to do things. They want to get back. We're getting closer down here, so much closer to our real lives, and we're safe. The people that we care about, that we're not going to get them sick. So I hope we get back up there. Hopefully, tell me, wouldn't a Canadian team, instead of playing in an empty building, wouldn't they have fun if they were saying based out of even Buffalo? And but Buffalo would sell out, and I think people would go across the border and take their chances with quarantine to watch if it was to say the Leafs coming out of there. I think they'd take that chance, and they'd take the 2-week hit of being locked up in their bedroom when they got back home. They'd gladly take it to see some third round playoff action if they could ever get there.
Absolutely, they would. I can't wait. Alan, it's been a blast. Enjoy the game tonight. Enjoy game day. We'll be watching.
See you guys. Thanks.
All right, Alan May from NBC Sports and the Washington Capitals broadcast. We'll take a timeout. We'll unpack that and a sports update on the other side. Rod Pedersen Show on Rod's Week Off here on Game Plus TV Network, Facebook, and YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports talk at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Capital Ford Lincoln is Truck Nation. Looking to buy your next truck or sell your current one? Capital is Canada's truck destination. Shop online or in-store to see the new 2021 Ford F-150, Ranger, Escape, and more. Right now is the best time to lease or finance a new vehicle. Can't find exactly what you're looking for? Let us help by sourcing your vehicle from our dealer network or custom ordering one that is perfect for you. Capital Ford Lincoln is Truck Nation, 1201 Pasqua Street North in Regina.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming, the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Did you know you can catch all the best moments from the show on all our social media platforms? Now, back to the studio with Rod.
The University of Regina Rams Online 50/50 is live, and it's open throughout Saskatchewan. So if you're not here, call somebody in the rectangle and get them to buy your 50/50 tickets. The grand total is approaching $10,000. The Regina Rams Football Club continues to be self-funded through fundraising efforts and sponsorships, honoring all 2021 scholarships to 95 student athletes and equipping them with new equipment year over year. Visit reginarams.com and reginarams5050.com to purchase your tickets. As we move on through the day, more of your comments coming in. Mike Horrigan, watching on YouTube, says, why would it take 2 weeks just to watch the Leafs play in Buffalo? LOL. This show is hilarious even when it's not trying to be. Well, quarantine, right?
Yeah.
I think Alan's talking about Torontonians going across the border to Buffalo, watching the Leafs play, and then coming home.
Because you have to quarantine. You have to.
That's what he's talking about.
So that's what's going on.
Yeah, when you come home, you have to quarantine. Tacona Pali's taking a shot at Ford in Toronto there. Why our golf course is open in Buffalo, LOL. Maybe Torontonians are going down to Buffalo to play golf. I'm not sure. I don't think a round of golf's not worth 2-week quarantine.
No, not at all.
But that would be the case. Our intern Rachel thinks the Leafs would basically have a home ground at Buffalo. They probably would, and Leaf fans are everywhere. I like the idea of we'll create this adopt-a-team program, and everybody will put in their application, Dallas, Phoenix, Buffalo, all of these locations to say, okay, we want your team, and here's why. These are all the Canadians that signed up to buy tickets. That could be fun.
Yeah.
If you were in Phoenix or LA or one of these, locations that have an arena, you'd go. Would you go to the game?
100%. I'd go right now. I'm dying to go.
I know. So I think there'd be enough fans in the building. Clark, do you want to just go? I'm comfy. You're good? Producer Clark got trapped in the cafeteria, the lounge area, on the way in the commercial break. John Olm on Facebook. Yeah. So he's hanging out on the couch. A little bit. Where's John Ohm's comment? There would, trust me, there would be 10,000 Winnipeg Jet fans doing the same thing, traveling down to watch your team play and then just sucking up the 2-week quarantine. Mm-hmm. William May says Seattle for the Oilers. Yeah, where would you want your team to play in the States, and where would you travel to watch them play? And would you stay for 2 weeks or a week to 10 days to watch a playoff series? That's interesting because we're all wondering what's going to happen with the Final Four. I know Clark's not back there, but guys, are you ready for the Ultra update? I heard a yes. All right. So just before we get there, Rod's away this week. He's doing some recovery training and certification so he can continue to evolve and help more people. So we wanted to bring in his comments today. We have to do the Ultra update. So the Ultra update comes from Rod. It's his commentary for the day, and it's a great look back on what's happened over the last 24 to 48 hours in the Canadian Football League. And it's 80 seconds long, so we'll fit this in because we've got 3 minutes till the break. So knock yourself out. There it is. Tuesday proved to be quite a fairly positive day for Canadian sports. It began with Hamilton Tiger Cats owner Bob Young taking to Twitter using the term silly to describe a report by Sportsnet's Arash Madani that the 2021 CFL season is still in jeopardy. The man who calls himself the caretaker said, "Of course there will be a season." That certainly got CFL fans and players alike very excited, but Rod's still in the camp of, "I'll believe it when I see it." Bob's a good man, and he didn't get to where he is by being a liar. However, lots of good leaders are also good people, but they've been totally wrong when it comes to a return to play in the pandemic. But then later in the day, news came down from both the Montreal Canadiens and Quebec government that the hockey team will be allowing 2,500 fans for a home playoff game next week against the Toronto Maple Leafs. That represents 12% of Bell Center's capacity, which is the largest arena in the NHL. The CFL's Montreal Alouettes issued a statement upon hearing this and saying they're encouraged and don't expect to kick off their home schedule until September. So who knows what the COVID situation will be by then. This was all great until we heard the same time as the Montreal News, one of the country's top doctors was telling a news conference in Ontario that crowds at sporting events across Canada weren't being seriously considered at this time. If there was ever a case of the left hand not knowing what the right was doing, this is it. But it's largely positive as vaccination news across the country, and particularly with our neighbors in Alberta and Manitoba, continue to do really well. I blew it, but there's more. I think it was just 2 months ago that Rod made the declaration that he's not holding anyone to their word as far as predictions and projections go, because they've seen the leaders proven wrong so many times over the past 15 months, and that's not even their fault. So when it comes to the CFL kicking off in August, or even a fans attending Habs games, it remains, "I'll believe it when I see it." So there you go. Your Original 16 Ultra update. Original 16 to fit your active lifestyle. Superior taste with only 80 calories and 2.5% alcohol. Taste without compromise. There you go. We'll get to more of your comments coming up in the viewer takeover segment next. This is the Rod Pedersen Show on Rod's Week Off, here on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Game Plus TV, and 24-hour sports talk at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Capital Ford Lincoln is your used car destination. We're overstocked and priced to move, so shop online or in-store to get the best deal on any one of our massive selection of pre-owned vehicles. Every pre-owned vehicle at Capital Ford must pass a thorough inspection, ensuring that your buying experience is quick, easy, worry-free, and just like new. So save the depreciation and buy pre-owned. Capital Ford Lincoln is your used car destination. 1201 Pasqua Street North in Regina.
In today's fast-paced world, we know you don't always have time to cook a nutritious meal. The Mad Greek in Moose Jaw's got you covered with delicious takeout and delivery specials, even for large groups or occasions. Authentic Greek cuisine, pizza, ribs, and more. There's something for everyone to enjoy. Offering delivery, and the takeout window is open to get your Greek to go. Family owned and operated. For more information and to view the online menu, visit themadgreekeatery.com.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Well, when I first started playing, the scholarship was so important to me. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a gas station, and I used to actually line the field for the team to get paid just to make some extra money.
I think for me, the opportunities that the scholarships provide is very important, or very specifically the stress it alleviates for myself.
The Rams give me the opportunity to buy everything that I need to get the best grades that I can, and that'll lead to me getting hopefully the best job that I can in the future.
There wasn't a scholarship opportunity with the Rams. I know that life would have been a lot more difficult for myself. I'm not too sure exactly how much longer I would have been able to play beyond my first year.
With the opportunity that they provided for me to go through school with the financial support and with the opportunity to continue to play football, Now that I look back on it, it was the most important thing in my life.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's.
Send us your opinions now. We won't victimize you unless you really deserve it. Now, back to your host, Rod Pedersen.
I think Mick's watching on Twitter, and from the cheap seats in Toledo, says, Dupes, breathe. Yeah, Rod didn't write that with the commentary in mind or with the 80-second sports update in mind, so I was hustling, and I still couldn't get it all in time. So if I went so fast and you didn't figure it out, let me recap what Rod said. You know, he said it was tremendously optimistic. He'll still believe it when he sees it. He talked about the country's top doctor saying at a news conference that crowds at sporting events across Canada weren't being seriously considered at this time. But it appears largely positive, and vaccination rollouts are going really well across the country, especially in Alberta and Manitoba. So these are all great things. But people have been wrong before, and we're going to live in a different world a month from now than we do today. So Rod's saying, I'll still believe it when I see it, but it was a positive day. So that's to recap his thoughts on the commentary. To the NHL for a minute, I wanted to get the Pittsburgh, New York recap from last night from our intern Rachel. Big Pens fan, didn't you know? And I'll try and summarize what I can from here, because you've got a great update. 50% capacity at PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh. 9,344 fans, so that was great. And so technically, I guess you'd call that a sellout, because that's all they're allowed to put in the building. So they've been rolling on that. Tristan Jarry, much better in the game, 37 saves for the Penguins, who won 2-1, evening the series at a game apiece. But Semyon Varlamov was good, too. 43 saves for him on the Islanders' side. But this was a really good game for Pittsburgh. Brian Rust scored a goal. He had that bad penalty late where he closed his hand on the puck and threw it. But sometimes, hey, all you want to do is get that puck out and your brain goes to mush. And, you know, Brian Rust is a good player. People make mistakes. No Evgeny Malkin again. But Jeff Carter was really good, and she went on to say that. He stepped up. And that second line for Pittsburgh was probably their best of the game. They played a lot last night. So Jeff Carter, and she says, fun fact about Jeff Carter, in his first 3 seasons in the NHL, he played with Sami Kapanen, and now over a decade later, he's playing with his son, Kasperi Kapanen, in Pittsburgh. That is kind of funny. And then she talks about Crosby's play. I mean, that was the only time Tristan Jarry didn't look like Tristan Jarry. He made a pretty good save, but it was an adventure. He didn't need to be flopping out of his crease like that. It was a little bit of an adventure. The only real time he looked kind of uncomfortable. And then there's Crosby coming back into the crease to one-hand a stick off the goal line and make just a tremendous defensive play. So Crosby's Crosby. Jarry was looking pretty good, and Pittsburgh is the winner and tying that series up. In regards to where the NHL teams have played, Jeff, the Stamps fan, goes on to say, I would go as far as Great Falls, Montana, to see the Flames play. It's not that far. So, and Chris Robinson on YouTube with a great question, Amanda, for you. He's got a question for you. What haven't you accomplished?
What haven't I accomplished? Oh, my goodness.
You've accomplished so much.
So much. Yeah. Good question. I haven't won MasterChef Canada.
Is that on your list of things to do?
No.
What is on your list of things to do? What's on the hit list?
I've done quite a few things, if you guys know a lot about my background, but one of the main things I really want to push into is I want to shake things up in the CFL. I want to see more diversity with women. I want to be a woman coach, a woman strength and conditioning coach, a woman speed coach, a woman positional coach in the CFL. I just see a lack of representation there, and I have the skills and the motivation. I work with CFL athletes right now, and I just think it would be huge to see a woman in that role, and I want to be one of the first women to do that. I can do it. I am a lifter right now. I have all the qualifications. I don't even need to tell you guys that. That's not even the point. I just want to see more diversification, especially we're seeing it in the NFL. And I love that. And I just want the CFL to maybe follow in that footsteps. And that's the next thing I want to accomplish, because I haven't accomplished that, is breaking those barriers of strong, independent women working with these amazing athletes and them listening to me and being great. And I've helped a lot of football athletes achieve their 40 times and make them a lot faster. And I can do that for these guys. And that's what I want to do. And I know that was a long-winded answer, but that's something I want to do.
That's awesome. And you probably will, because you crush everything else you'd set your mind on with a goal. So good for you.
How about that?
Our producer Clark on Facebook dropped in a comment about where you'd play a Canadian team. How about Grand Forks, North Dakota, where UND plays? That would be a pretty good hub. They're rabid hockey fans down there, and pretty close to Canada. So I think that would go. I think that would go over really, really well. Tame Welker on Facebook is sorry because he's late.
Oh,
it's $5. It's okay. The fine is $5. But you're not late, because we're going to go full deep on the Edmonton Oilers, the Winnipeg Jets in hour 2. Dustin Nielson will be along to talk about that. So that's going to be great. Game day in the Scotia North Division, and we're going to break it down for the next hour. That's going to be fun. So stick around here on Facebook Live, Game Plus, YouTube, and Sports Talk at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Direct West provides us with stats and analytics, and it's amazing for us to look and see that, each year we're 10 to 20% higher on our Google leads. It's great to see the success that our locations are having. The Direct West app gives us an opportunity to be in one place for people to find any of our locations or our commodities. Without Direct West, we would have to be in multiple digital places. I would recommend Direct West. They're great to work with.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming at the Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Our parents always taught us about the importance of quality of work and friendly service. And here at Suds Car Wash, we're a family-run business, so it's really important that our customers feel like family.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
Capital Ford Lincoln is Truck Nation. Looking to buy your next truck or sell your current one? Capital is Canada's truck destination. Shop online or in-store to see the new 2021 Ford F-150, Ranger, Escape, and more. Right now is the best time to lease or finance a new vehicle. Can't find exactly what you're looking for? Let us help by sourcing your vehicle from our dealer network or custom ordering one that is perfect for you. Capital Ford Lincoln is Truck Nation, 1201 Pasqua Street North in Regina.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Right now, Darren.
You know, Andre DuPont, the old Philadelphia Flyer tough guy, was nicknamed Moose.
And you being a tough guy.
Right. But in hockey, when I was younger, another player came across the middle and made the most devastating check I've ever made in my life. Take off the helmet, and it's a girl. And so the coach slapped her. Attaboy, Moose. Just like the Moose. And I'm like, I have no idea. Oh, I didn't get the text line.
The one sports show where roughing is encouraged. How about that?
How about that? Welcome inside hour 2 of the Rod Pedersen Show. Yes, it's Rod's week off. Darren DuPont back in the chair this week. Amanda Ruller beside.
I'm still here.
Good morning. It's 11. Our time. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm enjoying the show so far.
Good.
It's fun just like chatting and catching up with you guys. And I'm reading all the comments on there, and people are bringing up other women that are being hired in other industries like the NHL. And I really appreciate that everyone is supporting that so much. And that makes me feel hopeful for women in the future, just working in the industry that's so male driven, because that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to break that barrier. So
Danielle Goyette,
I appreciate it.
Haley Wickenheiser,
Yes.
Big promotions in the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. But it is game day, Jets and Oilers. We wanted to get the representation on here. Game day. So get us your thoughts. How are you enjoying game day? The Prairie Mobile text line's open at 306-840-8777. We'll get to your comments here and on the wall too, the comment wall, YouTube and Facebook. Do we have that picture of John Ohm? Do you want to put that up now? The blue hair? I see. All right. After Dustin, we'll get to that photo. But it's the Oilers and the Jets tonight. So let's bring in Dustin Nielson from TSN Radio in Edmonton. How are you, Dusty? Good to see you.
Good, buddy. I'm intrigued about this picture now. I want to see this picture. What's this picture about?
I know, right? We asked how folks are celebrating game day, and John's in Winnipeg. He said he's got the blue hair going on. But speaking of game day and like traditional things, what's the situation in Edmonton? Because when I was looking last night, there was the start of the whiteout, wasn't it? Snowing in Edmonton?
Yeah, there's snow on the ground today, which is, usually it's coming up May long. You're going to get snow in Edmonton, and then, they do. And then we also have a playoff game to finally get to as well. So, yeah, a little bit. Somebody just tweeted me a picture of a snowman that they built this morning with an Oilers scarf around it. So it's like we got the regular playoff hockey here in April, man. It's amazing.
That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. But how much anticipation has there been? I mean, since, Friday or Saturday, the playoffs got started, and you got to go day after day waiting to get going here in the North.
Yeah, you know what? It's with the way these games have gone, I think people have been even getting more excited. I mean, a few of these series so far, most of them have been absolutely incredible hockey. Some of it very physical. I mean, it's been great. And the weird thing about this one is that we've basically known it was going to be Oilers and Jets for like 2 months. I mean, since Montreal had their red hot start, then completely fell off, and Toronto kind of separated from the pack, we've been projecting Oilers Jets since like early March. So we've just been waiting for this game one now for like 90 days. And now it's finally here. The two teams are in a little bit of a different spot. But yeah, the vibe this morning, the buzz on my show, I go on the air at 6 o'clock, Dupes, and we had a text at 2:30 in the morning. We had a text at like 3:15 in the morning. We had 5 or 6 texts in the 4 o'clock hour, and then we had like 30 texts in the 5 o'clock hour. People were texting the show at 2:30 in the morning because they couldn't sleep because of the game tonight.
That's unbelievable, but that also like infuriates me a little bit because I watch games in Carolina and they put 12,000 people in there. You know, imagine what they'd be doing in Edmonton if they could actually go to the building for the game tonight.
It would be something else. And after that news that popped up in Montreal about possibly having 2,500 in there for Game 6, if it gets to that, I know there's been people, who've been texting and being like, "Dusty, you hearing anything here in Edmonton?" And I know the Oilers, they've been working very close with, Alberta Health since essentially having the bubble here, a year ago now. So they've got some good contacts there. I mean, if any market in the West was going to be able to pull this off, it'd probably be the one with the Oilers in a relationship with Alberta right now. But, the province just isn't in a great spot. Maybe, late second round, early third round. I don't know. I know their conversations have been had, but let's see how it plays out if Montreal does have it happen. And honestly, a lot of it just gets me fired up for a CFL season, because if you can get people indoors in 2,500, then we're certainly going to have people outdoors, which will be great.
Yeah, I agree. And we had Alan May on from NBC in Washington, head of the Caps and Bruins, and he's not traveling to Boston. They can't even travel outside of their city. So he was doing the games in the press box in the arena in Washington, but they're doing them off a monitor for the games in Boston. And we talked about the Final Four, and even if you can get fans in Edmonton and Montreal and Toronto and Winnipeg, I don't know if we're going to be crossing the border back and forth when we get to the Final Four. Like, have you heard anything? What would be an ideal situation?
Seems highly unlikely. I mean, It seems highly unlikely. I think the likely situation would be whichever team comes out of the North has to go full Toronto Raptors here and call the United States home for the rest of the run. But because you're right. I mean, let's say Montreal goes on a run somehow and comes out of the North, and they've had 2,500 fans in their building for, a series and a half. I don't think all of a sudden that just means that the border is going to miraculously be open here outside of the 7-day quarantine that you needed in the first place. I mean, they might be holding out hope because the deadline had just passed again, right? They extended it another month. So, I mean, maybe there's an outside shot, but I'd be pretty surprised at this point. I think we'd probably be foolish to plan for that. And it's weird because you haven't really seen even any of the insiders sort of lay out what the plan will be. So maybe they're waiting until the last second to actually figure out what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think so. But if you go down to the States, and Alan suggested that, what market would be your dream market for the Edmonton Oilers to go and play in? Like, would it be Phoenix because we assume there's a lot of Canadians there? He suggested Dallas. Somebody said Buffalo.
Yeah, man, because you would be allowed to have fans in the building, right? So, and people would probably deal with a 2-week quarantine coming home. They'd probably go down and try to check out that
That's
game.
what he said. Would you take the 2-week quarantine to go down there for 10 days to watch the series?
Some people might. They'd be so desperate for hockey. It'd probably be, have to say, probably down in Arizona. So if you're gonna skip out on work and go down and then have to take 2 weeks off when you come back, you might as well stay down there and golf a little bit while you get to check out the game. So that might. I wonder what they would do though. I don't know. It's weird that there hasn't been any sort of details leaked about possible plans here.
Alan, our intern on Facebook, says, "My lord, Nielson looks like Nick Nurse. He can pass off as a twin." Have you got that before?
No, I've never got that before, but he's an excellent basketball coach, and I'm a big fan of the association. So I'll definitely take that. I'm not as musically talented as Nick Nurse, but I'll take the comparison. I think he's honestly a good-looking man. So this is a great compliment here this morning.
How about that?
How about that? We're on to something. I love it. So to the game tonight, Jets and Oilers, and I mean, the season series, 7-2-0 for the Oilers in the season series. It wasn't close. Hellebuck wasn't good. Mike Smith was, of course. McDavid, 22 points in the season series, scored in every game. How does Edmonton not win this series?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways to victory here, I think, for Winnipeg. I do think the Oilers will win it. I think the weird thing for me right now is that, and I've said this a couple of times on other, on my show and stuff. I feel like both teams are being a little bit disrespected here. Like Winnipeg a month ago, before they went into their slide, we're fighting with Toronto for top spot. They had that series coming up. If they would have had success in it, they could have taken over top spot for a little bit. And they've been injured as of late, and looks like they're still banged up heading into tonight. But they're still a good hockey team. I know they've really struggled down the stretch here, but they're still a good hockey team. So I think us here in Edmonton, anybody who's picking it to be 4 or 5, I think we need to give the Jets a little bit more respect. And then anybody outside of the Edmonton market, everybody seems to think Toronto's this heavy favorite to come out of the North, and they have the same amount of wins in regular. I think the same amount of wins or one more win than the Oilers this season. And going into the final weekend, the Oilers had more regulation wins than the Toronto Maple Leafs. So Toronto just managed to get more loser points along the way to have that little bit of separation up at the top. So as far as the overall bigger picture for these two teams, I think we might be selling both of them a little short. But as for how the Winnipeg Jets find a route to success, I mean, usually it's the same recipe for success for the Winnipeg Jets, and it's Connor Hellebuyck to stand on his head because they hemorrhage scoring chances against. And Hellebuyck looked very average during the season series here, and that's why McDavid had at least 2 points in every single game, set an NHL record. So they don't seem to have a team in front of him that will be able to contain Connor McDavid. So I think it might have to be a combination of Hellebuyck being brilliant, Mike Smith being average to below average, because I don't know how Winnipeg approaches this. Like, the last thing you want to do is get into a run-and-gun affair with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, even though, when healthy, you've got a pretty good top 9 up front, but I don't think your D-man can hold up their end of the bargain if that's how you want to play it. And at the same time, I mean, is Winnipeg a team that's built to win 2-1 hockey games? I really don't think they are in your typical playoff lockdown mode. So I think it's going to have to be Connor Hellebuyck. Look, he's a goalie who's capable of doing it. He won the Vezina last year. He's got a couple of shutouts here in the last few weeks. He's a goalie that's capable of standing on his head, but he just hasn't been able to do that against the Oilers this year.
Yeah, you're right. He's going to have to do that. What's interesting, the lines that were on the ice yesterday for the Oilers, McDavid and Draisaitl, not together. I think you're a fan of playing them together. Am I right?
Yeah, I don't mind it. I think Dave Tippett's done a pretty good job this year of going back and forth from it. And he basically has said multiple times it's a situational thing. And there were a few times there near the end of the season, I think he left them together just so they could hammer that 100-point mark for Connor McDavid, and it definitely worked out. But, I think long-term, this is probably the way that you're going to have to go. And if he talks about it from a situational perspective, well, what's the situation with the Winnipeg Jets? The situation with the Winnipeg Jets is if Mark Scheifele tries to shut down Connor McDavid the entire year, McDavid torch Scheifele, and then you've got Stastny. If they decide to go Stastny against Leon Draisaitl, Draisaitl should have a significant advantage there. If you look at the numbers, Connor McDavid, when they were apart this year, he scored a ton against Winnipeg. When they were together, they scored at even a higher rate. I think they played about 25% of their time together against Winnipeg this year, scored 8 goals. And McDavid spent 75% of his time by himself against Winnipeg, scored 10 goals. So, I mean, they just find a way to provide offense against the Winnipeg Jets. So, it's always something Tippett can go to. I don't know if he panics early in the series and decides to lock it in. We have seen him go to it mid to late game if they're looking for offense, and it usually works, whether it's Jesse Puljujarvi or Kyler Yamamoto on the right side with those two guys. So I like the way that they're starting it, and we'll see how it plays out because he's moved back and forth from it quite a bit this year.
Teams that aren't in the playoffs, I mean, their fan bases they're hurting, Dusty. Jeff's in Calgary, and he says, I hope both the Oilers and the Jets lose this series. Meanwhile, he's going to watch the game this afternoon, right? He'll watch the game this afternoon, and that's how that will go.
That is cruel punishment, though, to watch those teams play that out. That's tough.
It really is. It really is. But I look at it, right, 3 timeouts per period, and they're 2.5 minutes each, TV timeouts per period. So with the extra rest, I mean, and you split these guys up, and if you need to, I mean, you can start pushing 25, 30 minutes if McDavid needs to be on the ice. That's McDavid or Draisaitl every single second of the hockey game. I mean, it becomes awful tough.
You're right, man. You could, if you want to keep them separated and play them both for 25 minutes, I mean, they could be out there a ton, especially if they're going to get a lot of that power play time. So that's something that they do have going for them. Probably for 75% of the game, they'll have the best forward on the ice. And that's why people say, well, the Oilers only go as far as that time when they're not on the ice. But with the way McDavid and Draisaitl have been this year, I mean, buddy, they've been automatic. Connor McDavid's had one of the one of the greatest offensive seasons in the history of the game. And one of the teams he's victimized the most is the one that they're going to be playing here in the first round of the playoffs. So it's a luxury to have for Dave Tippett. There's no doubt about it. And you know what? I know those guys played a lot during the regular season, but let's be honest, we're 56 games in. This is not after an 82-game grind. You got to go play up to 100 games to take a run at the Stanley Cup. 56 games. They've had 2 stretches of a week off in the middle of this weird season, too. So I would think of the teams in the North, the Oilers might be one of the most well-rested clubs.
One more before we let you go, because if for some reason Winnipeg can shut down those two. Now, I think you just hope to contain them. I mean, if they each score a goal a game, you got a chance. right? If you can limit them to providing 2 goals. But looks like Cassian's in, no Tyler Ennis. What does the bottom 6, the depth look like?
Yeah, Cassian hasn't played in a while. He's been out. He's been injured. I didn't think they were going to get him back till late first round, but this does make sense because the first round's starting so late that it kind of hits that timeline that they were looking at. So they put him with Ryan McLeod and James Neal, and then they got Jujhar Khaira with Alex Chason and Josh Archibald. And people seem pretty excited about McLeod, Cassian, and Neal. I mean, we'll see what they can do. As long as these 2 lines don't come out on the negative end of a hockey game, the Oilers are usually pretty good. I mean, McDavid and Draisaitl at even strength, those lines are each going to probably, create a goal or at least a bunch of chances. And if they get a power play, they got the best power play in the league with those 2 guys. So, an opportunity to take advantage of it there. Cassian's the interesting one, though. I mean, back in 2017, when they went on a mini run, they went 2 rounds. He was great. I mean, he was very physical. You see what's happened so far with some of the physical play in the postseason. He hasn't had a good season, but I wonder if, at some time off here, back healthy, if he's able to provide a little bit of jump in their bottom 6. And I don't think this series is going to be overly physical like some of the ones that we've seen so far. Maybe there's a little bit of that in game 1, but in the end, these are 2 teams that, feast on skill. And I think that's what we'll probably see.
No, that's great. One of the things I love, Canadian sports fans, I mean, they're hungry, and I think they're underserved. So we see a lot of fans that watch your show, watch our show, and our show, watch Hustler Show, and Hustler Show, watch your show. And, we're all kind of consuming together. So they want to know, I think it was John in Winnipeg, wants to know what's your favorite or what's your most valuable card that you pulled? Because they're following along with the crack pack and, your card collection.
And I've got a card that I pulled. I've got a lot of cards that I bought along the way. They're all up on the wall over here. But best one I've pulled so far, probably since I started doing the cracking of packs online with Break Kings that I teamed up with, I pulled a Connor McDavid auto and a Wayne Gretzky auto, which is crazy because I've only done 6 breaks and I've got a Gretzky auto. Very first break I ever did, the last card I opened was a Wayne Gretzky autograph. And I go upstairs and I'm shaking and my wife's like, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And I said, "I just pulled this Wayne Gretzky card." And she goes, "Is it for you?" I said, "No, it's for somebody else who was in the break," but it's such a rush. So yeah, in the last month, I've pulled Gretzky and McDavid autos. So yeah, those 2 would have to be right up there.
Sports cards or cryptocurrency? What would be?
I don't understand cryptocurrency, so I'm investing everything I have in sports cards moving forward. All the big rookies, and hopefully, even if there's a downtime, hopefully, in 30 years, it goes back up, and my kids can actually attend post-secondary school.
I love it. I love it. We didn't touch football because it's Oiler game day. We'll do that another time. Dusty, enjoy it.
Man, God, I hope we get a little bit of that, buddy.
I do too. I really, really do. Enjoy game day, pal. Enjoy the game tonight.
Yeah, good chatting with you, man.
Yeah, Dustin Nielson from TSN Radio in Edmonton joining us on the video chat. Yeah, that's exciting. They get game day. It's like their birthday, right? I mean, I'm excited for them. So do we got to do the photo after the break? Okay. I think, if Dusty's still logged in, he probably wants to see this from John Ohm. But he says, "Great job, Dusty." They love him right now. We've got the photo. All right. There he is. Oh, he's got the blue mohawk going. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
He's your stylist.
John is ready for game day. Jets and Oilers. We'll start looking at some of the numbers coming up on the other side. Josh Donnelly from the U of R Rams, who will talk a little football. That'll come up at the bottom of the hour. But next break, we'll go deeper into the matchup that is the Oilers and the Jets, and we'll look at some of the numbers. We'll go to your comments. Tell us what you think is going to happen. And we'll get to the poll question. We haven't brought up the poll question today, so we'll do that on the other side of the break. It's the Rod Pedersen Show on Rod's Week Off here on Game Plus TV Network, Facebook and YouTube Live, and 24-hour sports radio for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
Well, when I first started playing, the scholarship was so important to me. I was working 2 jobs. I was working at a gas station, and I used to actually line the field for the team to get paid just to make some extra money.
I think for me, the opportunities that the scholarships provide is very important, or very specifically the stress it alleviates for myself.
The Rams give me the opportunity to buy everything that I need to get the best grades that I can,
and that'll lead to me getting hopefully the best job that I can in the future.
There wasn't a scholarship opportunity with the Rams. I know that life would have been a lot more difficult for myself. I'm not too sure exactly how much longer I would have been able to play beyond my first year.
With the opportunity that they provided for me to go through school with the financial support and with the opportunity to continue to play football, now that I look back on it, was the most important thing in my life.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
Capital GMC is your used car destination. We're overstocked and priced to move, so shop online or in-store to get the best deal on any one of our massive selection of certified pre-owned vehicles. Every certified vehicle includes the balance of manufacturer's warranty, 150 plus point inspection, roadside assistance, and certified exchange privilege. So save the depreciation and buy pre-owned. Capital GMC is your used car destination at the corner of Rochdale and Pasqua in Regina.
Don't rack your brain trying to source the equipment and materials you need for your business. Rockstar can operate your entire supply chain, from PO creation to expediting your shipments, all from our office. Leverage the buying power of the Rockstar buying group to not only save money and time, but also the headache. From gloves to glue, we can provide it for you. Find out more at rockstar.com.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show.
Oh, yeah, he's back. Time for more of the Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, you're going to want to be following the Rod Pedersen Show's Instagram, because tomorrow morning, no, not tomorrow morning, it's Wednesday only. This is great. Friday morning, I'll be picking up John Lynch. So Rod always does the video on his own Instagram story. I'll do it on the show's Instagram story, okay? So the Rod Pedersen Show on Instagram. Follow along, and you can see what it's like. And if you don't follow, and if you haven't seen it before, these frenzy pickups on Friday are legendary. He's always ready with some sort of a skit. Like, he'll have a prop. Like, I remember one day at the Banjo Bowl, or sometimes he'll, like, lift his shirt up or do something wild. He's just incredibly jacked up on Friday morning at like 9 a.m. But it was the Banjo Bowl, and the Riders had won on Labor Day, right? Mm-hmm. So Rod pulls up to pick up John Lynch, and there's John with the garage door up, sweeping the driveway. And Rod's like, what are you doing? He's like, we're going to sweep the Bombers. We're going to sweep them, right? The back-to-back games. He's incredibly excited, and he's having fun. So I'll be interested to see what John decides to do on Friday for me, or maybe he'll do nothing. I don't know.
I want to be exactly like that when I grow up.
Of course.
Exactly.
John is great. He is great. They're loving the dye job of John Ohm, the blue hair, which I think is awesome on game day.
I will say that's super impressive to get that dye job, that color, because sometimes when you bleach, it will turn like an orange, but you did a really, really good job, so...
That was good.
Consider maybe being a stylist now.
Tacona Powley says Jets in 6 for the game tonight. Yes, that's pretty good. Trying to roll through, see what else is cooking today. You know, our quick 6 show topics, just to kind of re-up on those. We don't have to hit the buzzer here. But we had the Oilers-Jets game day, which we're going to get to here right away. NHL playoffs recap. There was the Penguins winning, the Golden Knights winning, which we haven't talked a lot about. But, it was a really big game. Now, in that game, it was funny. Marc-Andre Fleury continues to be sensational. He had stopped 70 of 72 shots. They were like midway through game 2. He had stopped 70 of 72 in the series, and the team hadn't even scored a goal. So, he's just bailing them out left and right, and then all of a sudden, Marchessault answers. Was it like 18 seconds after Dumba had scored to take the lead? He answers, and then they get the lead, and Chandler Stevenson, the former Regina Pat, ices it late in that game, 3-1. So that was really fun last night. Of course, Tampa going up on their series 2-0 with Florida, which I'm a Panthers fan now. I'm on their bandwagon. So they're not playing bad. They just need to catch some breaks. And somebody even suggested, I think it was on Hockey Night in Canada, will they go to Spencer Knight, maybe play a third goaltender? They had Drieger play last night. They had Bobrovsky playing game 1. Do you go to a third goaltender? So that will be interesting. So that's kind of a recap. Point 3 was Bo Levi Mitchell's comments. He kind of backed the idea of the CFL-XFL merger, and he really went deep on the CFL needing to invest in a younger market. Point 4, Bob Young leftovers. He says the Ticats will play. He guaranteed the Ticats will play. And then Mark Godey, the CEO of the Ottawa Sports Group that owns the Red Blacks, doubled down on that, and he backed him up, retweeted, said, I'm with you, Bob. We're here in Ottawa. We're with you. We'll play. Then we got point 5, the Montreal Canadiens allowing 2,500 fans in the stands by May 28th, which will be game 6 of their first-round series with Toronto if it goes that far. And that prompted a statement by the Alouettes, who were excited about this news and then more optimistic about the season being played with fans in their building. And they said their first home game won't be until September. So kind of leaking a little info about what they might know about the schedule. And maybe that is part of the plan, is that those Eastern teams come west for the first few games of the season, the first month.
Wouldn't mind that.
And by September, go back home to play their home games. That might be how the early part of the season goes. And to me, that's kind of reading the tea leaves in that statement by the Montreal Alouettes, right? So that was point 6. And some leftovers we didn't even get to. And maybe we will tomorrow. Their Vancouver Canucks situation. I mean, they're wrapping up today, so I don't really want to get deep into this, but it's not good. Jim Benning is going to stay. The Sedins have been offered a job in the front office, and Travis Green is going to coach this game not knowing what his future is. I mean, it's bizarre world in Vancouver, but we'll do that a little bit tomorrow. But the numbers in this game for the Jets and Oilers, we'll do that after the poll question, because I apologize. You guys have been answering the poll question, our daily poll questions for Capital Auto Mall and Universal Collision Center. And as we head into game 1 of the Scotia North Division's playoffs, it's which of the 4 goaltenders in Canada would you want to lead you through the playoffs? And your choices are Carey Price, Mike Smith, Jack Campbell, or Connor Hellebuck. And half of you on Facebook say Connor Hellebuck of the Winnipeg Jets. Mike Smith and Jack Campbell are splitting the bottom at 11%. Mm-hmm. So that's interesting. Carey Price back in net, scheduled to start game 1 for the Montreal Canadiens. So that will lead us to today's face-off for the Ultimate Fan Zone and the Mad Greek. Amanda, which goaltender would you want leading you in the playoffs of the 4?
Carey Price. I'm going to go with him. He's
Carey
a winner.
Price.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's Carey Price.
Carey Price has won.
Yep.
You think Carey Price can get it done for Montreal and they can beat Toronto?
I think so.
That would be interesting. I'm going to go with Connor.
On it.
I'll go with Connor Hellebuck because he's the reigning Vezina Trophy winner. He was pretty good down the stretch. Wasn't so good against Edmonton, but if he plays well against Edmonton, I think Connor Hellebuck has the most upside. I think he's the best of the group right now when he's at the top of his game. So I'll go Connor Hellebuck. You're going Carey Price. I like it.
Let's see.
The Face-Off for the Ultimate Fan Zone, your one-stop shop for the sports fan on your list. Visit the Man Cave downtown Moose Jaw or visit their new website, and you can order online. It's pretty great. And for the Mad Greek in Moose Jaw, available for licensed dining, takeout, or delivery. Head to themadgreekeatery.com for more information. Still got some time left in this segment, so let's get into that the game tonight. Just to give you a look at some of the numbers here as we head into the game. Special teams has been a factor. Most of these games, a lot of goals in the playoffs, special teams is huge. We don't see as many power plays, as many opportunities. But the Oilers come in with the number 1 power play in the NHL at 27.6%. The Jets, number 7. And maybe I should do this the other way. The Oilers come in with the number 1 power play at 27%. The Jets have the number 13 penalty kill at 80.5%. The Jets have the number 7 power play, but in their last 10 games, it was just 8%. Over the season, it was 23%. And the Oilers have the 9th best penalty kill at 82%. And over their last 25 games, their penalty kill was actually better. It was 92%. So you got a power play coming in at 8% over the last 10 games. Power play penalty kill that was 92%. The Oilers have a distinct advantage on special teams. I think the Jets need to keep this game 5-on-5 if they're going to have a chance. Goaltending, Mike Smith in the head-to-head series, a .936 save percentage. Connor Hellebuck, .877. The Oilers went 7-2 in the season series. McDavid, 22 points in the season series. There was never a game that he was held off the score sheet in 9 games against Winnipeg. 7 goals, 15 assists. And to that effect, Leon Draisaitl had 12 points of his own, 7 goals in the season series. And, I mean, Mike Smith, he's 39. But, I mean, he looks like the Mike Smith from 2012 when he was leading Arizona to the conference final. And you heard Dustin Nielson talk about high danger chances, that Winnipeg gives up a lot of them. And I didn't want to get, I left out the advanced stats, the Corsi and all of that, because that's confusing. And it's incredibly confusing trying to say it over the air with no graphics, right? But the Winnipeg Jets have allowed the 5th most high danger chances per 60 minutes. They're allowing a lot of really good scoring chances. That's more than any other team in the playoffs.
How about that?
And Winnipeg, of course, we know 3-7 in their final 10 games, limping into the playoffs. But you can wipe the slate clean when it comes to playoff time, right? Connor Hellebuck can wipe the slate clean. Those last 10 games don't matter. You're 0-0. The series is even, and anything can happen. I think we're talking about Crosby, right, John? Scary good if he's on his game? Or are you talking about Hellebuck? Because he's pretty good when he's on his game. And you're right. The Jets need to stay out of the penalty box. Jennifer Illingworth watching. She says, yep, I think talking about either one of those guys. Is it Hellebuck or is it McDavid? I'm not really sure. But it could be for either, right? Scary good when he's on his game. It applies to both of those guys. Lineups, just to note, Nikolai Ehlers, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Paul Maurice saying there'll be game time decisions. So we'll find out if Nikolai Ehlers and Pierre-Luc Dubois will play. But yesterday for practice, Paul Stastny was practicing in a regular jersey. Looks good to go. Nikolai Ehlers and Andrew Kopp were both in non-contact jerseys, and there was no Pierre-Luc Dubois at practice. But, again, that's practice. We'll find out what happens when they play tonight. So, looking forward to that. And apparently, Tyler Ennis won't be in the lineup. Chason will draw in. Zach Kassian back for the Oilers. And that back end for Edmonton has played a lot better this year than they did a year ago. So I'm looking forward to it. Are you going to get into the playoffs now that the North plays tonight?
Yeah, especially with all this talk and reading all the comments. Everybody's super excited. I'm getting into it.
So you've got all the notes.
Yeah.
Okay, you've got all the notes. You got all the numbers. Who do you got?
Oh my gosh.
I know.
I don't even know where to begin.
Put you on the spot. Okay.
How about you?
You got a commercial break to think about it. And then we're going to get your thoughts on the other side before we bring in Josh Donnelly, the U of R Rams quarterback, and switch to football for a segment. So sit on that. Let's get your predictions in the comments section on Facebook and YouTube. What do you think happens in Game 1 tonight? And what happens in the series? Write in and we'll get to your comments on the Prairie Mobile text line, too. It's open, 306-840-8777. We'll get to those. It's finally off the charger. So that's coming up here on the Rod Pedersen Show on Rod's Week Off here on Game Plus, Facebook and YouTube Live. And listen live for Sud's full-service car wash at rodpedersen.com.
Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. You gotta subscribe. Click the subscribe button for all the content you may have missed.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Direct West has been the bridge for me from not dealing with social media or digital presence to having a presence. You have to take the leap of faith, so to say, and I'm glad we have. Direct West has helped us out immensely to get our presence online as far as digitally and also with the social media page. To see the results is just puts a smile on your face.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
Bronco Plumbing and Heating, proudly serving Regina and surrounding areas since 1978. We are excited to announce the new Bryant Furnace Trade-in Allowance Program. If you have a working Bryant furnace, 15 years old or less, you may be eligible to receive a new furnace at a discounted rate. If you'd like to take advantage of the Bryant Trade-in Program, or to hear how we can help improve your home, give us a call today at 306-781-2090.
At Prairie Mobile, you can get the phone you want when you want. All smartphones are $0 every day. With convenient locations across Saskatchewan, Prairie Mobile, your SaskTel authorized dealer, has you covered. Visit us online at prairiemobile.com.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpedersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpedersenshop.com.
Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rod.
All right, welcome back to the Rod Pedersen Show. Rod's week off, not on vacation. He's off doing other work on the recovery side, increasing that certification process. Look what we found in the break. Can we show Amanda? She found herself an Oilers jersey. So here we go. It's game day.
What the heck? I just found this on the floor.
Oh, so sure. You pulled it out of your closet. You were waiting all day to wear it.
I'm going to be taking this team, and I put on the jersey, and now I'm absorbing it.
All right. Do you have a team? Do you have a team in hockey?
I'm not really.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not like a huge. I'm more of a CFL fan and an NFL fan. I'm
right.
Sorry, guys. So I'm more of a football type of person. So I could go either way, but I'm gonna go with the Oilers.
She's got the Oilers. All right. So we asked you to sit that through the break. John Holm, you haven't made too many friends in Winnipeg by putting on the Oilers jersey. Craig Smith's a Jets fan, but he can see and he can't see them beating the Oilers. McDavid, Draisaitl, sure hope they can. Oilers in 5, but goaltending can help win a series. Canucks in 82. Richard Brodeur. Bucky's got to be the best. Hellebuck. He does. He has to be the best. Bang on, Craig. Bang on. To football. And we go out on the video chat to University of Regina Rams quarterback Josh Donnelly, who joins us here in Regina. How are you, Josh?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's going really well. It's good to see you. How are things with you right now? I mean, middle of your off season, kind of getting prepared. This would normally be close to spring camp time for you guys, ish. How are things in your world?
I think different is the best way to put it these days. A little bit slower. You don't see the guys as often as you'd like to, and you're not doing the same type of training that we would be doing at this time of year. But we're doing our best to kind of get ready for what's to come for the summer and the season. Is that
the standard Zoom background for all the team calls? Is that the spot? Do you got a little setup that you use every day?
Pretty much, yeah. This is my home office, laundry room turned home office.
I like it. The acoustics are good. It's a clean background. That's what you need. So, how has the offseason been? And working with your new head coach, Mark McConkey. I mean, hasn't had that opportunity to get on the field as a head coach, but I mean, he's been around a long time. What's his influence been like on this group and on you specifically?
Mark's awesome. I don't think I can say enough about how excited I am to get working with him. I know he's a young guy, and that's kind of the thing with him, but he's also just so willing to learn, and the new culture that he's kind of bringing to the team moving forward, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that kind of plays out on the field. What do you know? What are they telling? Like, are you guys excited? Like, are you guys pretty confident that you're going to get on the field? And not that, we're digging for inside info here, but, what is the feeling amongst the players in terms of trying to get on the field in September? Well, I think I'm pretty sure this is public news that they just announced a 6-game season. So usually we play 8 games. So we're expecting a 6-game season and a little bit of a later start. But what I can tell, just hearing from Mark and from some of the other coaches around the league, that they're pretty confident that we're going to play this year, that we're going to find a way to, adjust the travel regulations and all that sort of stuff, and make all our different, precautions for how we're going to proceed and get on the field. Yeah, I agree. I'm much more confident about U Sports getting on the field. Just a little easier than the CFL, a little less on the logistics side. But I'm interested in a couple things. One, this Rams team, for those that are following the Canada West, how is this Rams group looking ahead to the season? Your weapons and where this team kind of is as you guys get set to compete? Well, I think the big thing last year, back, I guess, 2019, we were considered a young team, and we had our struggles, a little bit of ups and downs. But I think moving forward now, going into the 2021 season, we're a lot older, a lot more mature, and all those young, stars, I guess you can say, those young guys that were touted to be good players in the future are kind of grown up now, I guess. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think we're going to turn a lot of heads and really surprise the league next year. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. And you got on the field as a freshman, which that must have been a challenge and an exciting challenge for you. What was that like? What did you learn from that experience getting on the field as a true freshman? It was definitely a wake-up call. There was definitely that switch from high school to university. The level of play and the speed of the game is all a little bit faster. But I think even just the growth from game 1 to the last game of the year, there was just a more comfortability that kind of came with it. And now moving forward, having a couple more, I guess, a really extended off season, a couple months to kind of get my head around everything and get more into the playbook and spend some more time with Mark talking things through. And I'm really looking forward to next year, and I think we'll do big things for sure. Awesome. I just got a couple more for you. One, I'm kind of excited because I know your abilities, but you got a pretty good counterpart in your quarterback room in Sawyer Bittner, right? Out of Moose Jaw. He's played at this level. Are you looking forward to that competition, and what's the relationship kind of been like? So far, it's been awesome. He's a great guy, great locker room presence. He's a super funny dude. And he's a really smart guy. He's been all over the place, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to pick his brain and kind of go back and forth with some different things that he sees and some playbook stuff and how he approaches the game and all that sort of stuff. So I'm really looking to keep learning from him, and he's going to make me better. The competition, I think, it brings out the best of both of us. So Mark has said the best guy is going to play, so it's going to force me to be at my best if I want to be back on the field next year. Awesome. I'm looking forward to that for sure. So now, as we get set to go through the summer and into the season, what's next for you? School, training,
what's your summer look like?
Well, I'm finishing up the spring semester right now, and then I think it's just slowly getting back on the field. We're kind of working our way from, right now we're allowed 8 guys in the field, social distance, masked, all that sort of stuff, to eventually hopefully getting a little bit bigger groups and some more guys, and then gradually making our way to fall camp. So that's just it's a slow process, and it's been the waiting game this entire time during the pandemic here, but something we're used to and we're ready to kind of take head on.
Hey, Josh, I know you kind of mentioned training, and at the facility that I go to, I always see you grinding. I always see you working really hard and putting in that extra work to get to where you need to get to. And I know it's been a long road for you guys not knowing what's happening. And I wanted you to speak on how important that was, that you still trained through that time to kind of build that base. Because now you potentially have a season coming up, right, with these games. How important was it to kind of build that base so that you come back to your season kind of ready to go, maybe injury-free?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll first give a shout out to the Regina Sports Performance Center there that you're talking about. That's been a huge new facility in Regina for us to keep throwing and staying fit and all that sort of stuff in the off season and the winter months. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the gap between the players that have been working out and training this entire extended off season between those players that haven't, and there's going to be a pretty big gap, and it's going to be interesting to see once we get back on the field. Who's been putting in the work the last, year and a half, and who hasn't. So it'll be exciting to see, and it'll be interesting for sure.
What do you think? I just want to ask one more question. What kept you going throughout that time? Because as an athlete myself, I know it's hard because there was a lot of uncertainty in that time. What personally kind of kept you going through that?
That's a tough question. I think, the end of last year, we had such a good, little run of momentum, 2 wins to kind of finish out the year. And it was just such a good feeling in the locker room that we were had such a good future moving forward. And then once we had the season taken away from us, it was almost just more time to ensure that we're ready to go for 2021, I think is kind of the way that I looked at it. Rather than losing a year, which I guess some guys did, but rather than losing a year, we just had more time to prepare and make sure that we were ready to go. So I just didn't want to waste that time. I wanted to make sure that I was using that to the fullest. And once, August or September comes for our upcoming season, that those last, year and a half didn't go to waste.
Yeah, I agree. Josh, I appreciate your time. We got to run, but we're looking forward to seeing you guys back on the field. I have to be on a sideline or in a broadcast booth in September. So looking forward to that.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Josh Donnelly is the quarterback for the University of Regina Rams. You can get your Rams 50/50 tickets and support their scholarship program, ReginaRams5050.com. We'll take a break. Viewer takeover in the overtime coming up next. This is the Rod Pedersen Show on Game Plus TV Network, Facebook and YouTube Live, and listen live for Suds Full Service Car Wash at rodpedersen.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions is Saskatchewan's only full-service supply chain company. Strategic sourcing, PO creation, and order expediting, VMI and vending solutions, and free delivery are just a few of the supply chain services we provide. If your company needs it, Rockstar Supply Chain Solutions can get it for you. Price, quality, service, Rockstar Supply Chain Solution is helping Saskatchewan companies buy better.
Direct West provides us with stats and analytics, and it's amazing for us to look and see that, each year we're 10 to 20% higher on our Google leads. It's great to see the success that our locations are having. The Direct West app gives us an opportunity to be in one place for people to find any of our locations or our commodities. Without Direct West, we would have to be in multiple digital places. I would recommend Direct West. They're great to work with.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology.
Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. EDG, always delivering the best fan experience.
Capital Ford Lincoln is your used car destination. We're overstocked and priced to move, so shop online or in-store to get the best deal on any one of our massive selection of pre-owned vehicles. Every pre-owned vehicle at Capital Ford must pass a thorough inspection, ensuring that your buying experience is quick, easy, worry-free, and just like new. So save the depreciation and buy pre-owned. Capital Ford Lincoln is your used car destination. 1201 Pasqua Street North in Regina.
Stars, you're dispatched to a scene call. Patient has multiple traumatic injuries and is unconscious but breathing.
This is why I backed the Stars lottery.
Stars, we can accept the mission.
This is why I'm all in.
Mission accepted. Have a safe flight.
The prizes are great. The cause is critical.
Stars Lottery, the lottery on a mission. Every ticket is your chance to win over $4.2 million in prizes. Buy yours at starslottery.ca or 1-844-STARS-SK.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
We started Suds Car Wash in 2003.
There's a bit of us in every part of the business. I've been working here since I was about 10 years old. Hard to believe it's been 12 years since. Working with my family has been great. My mom and dad have taught us the importance of hard work. I've been here since I was 10 years old, and my dad has taught me a lot about quality work.
From all of us at Suds Car Wash, we make your car shine.
You got something to say? You want to add to the show? What are you waiting for? Don't just sit there. Say something. Now, back to the studio with Rod.
All right, we can just settle down here and relax. If you notice, remember when I hosted before, guys? The crutch, I would always move this. It would just be all the time, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Have you noticed what I've been doing for the last 3 days?
How about that?
I haven't been touching the mic, but have you noticed what I have been doing instead? A lot of this, a lot of this, a lot of this, a lot of hands. It's the ADD, okay? Rod and I are squirrels. It's just what we do. Have you noticed?
I have. I think I have that too. I think it's
fidgeting.
Just people that are excited to do stuff and just get a little just passionate about what they do, and they have high energy. So
I like it.
Not a bad thing.
We'll get to lots of your comments. Anything you guys want to talk about the game tonight, about the football, CFL news that's come down over the past 24 to 48 hours. Are you excited they're going to play? I'd love to get your thoughts, and we'll get there. Chris Robinson, and some of these are going to be from a little while ago, but I didn't get to all of your comments. Chris Robinson asks, Dupes, if you moved one single thing on Rod's desk, will he notice next week? Ooh. Well, I put the Oilers up here, but before that, I don't know if you noticed what's front and center. The Titans football. I made sure that was front and center, especially early in the week. But it's game day, so the Oilers get the front seat. So he would notice if this was a mess back here, because it kind of is. Yeah. He would notice. What else do we got in here? A lot of Go Jets. Ryan McCarthy in Saratoga, New York, I think it was back in hour one. Since Quebec has given the Alouettes some sort of direction, would Ontario-based teams be willing to play the first month of the CFL season in Montreal and Laval till things in Ontario clear up? And, well, I think what we got in that Montreal Alouettes statement that came out yesterday in response to the 2,500 fans being allowed into Bell Centre by May 28th is they said their home schedule is not expected to start till September. So they're excited about where things will go. I think they've just told us that the plan is for the first month to be on the road. That's what I take away from it. Mm-hmm. So I think they're going to play somewhere else. And I think maybe teams are going to come to Saskatchewan and Winnipeg and, some Western communities that are in better shape. That makes me a little bit more excited that maybe there's a plan in place that we haven't heard about. Exactly. It makes me hopeful for the future. And I feel like everyone feels the same way with that. That's all it takes, right? That's all it takes is a little bit of info. Tell us what you're talking about. Give us a little sample, and we get excited. And I think it's true. I mean, Bob Young, whom I don't know personally, but even from talking to Rod, a guy I respect and trust to deliver truthful news, to not lie to you. I'm pretty excited. If he thinks they're going to play, who am I to disagree? But again, as Rod mentioned in his Wednesday commentary, I'll believe it when I see it. So I kind of have to go along with that. Bill Lothian says, well done, Amanda. You and Dupes skipped along perfectly. Great show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, Amanda.
Oh, my gosh.
Because it's been great. I mean, it was awesome. I missed you. I haven't seen you in a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Couple of other comments that we'll get to here. We got Tammy Welker's name figured out. It's not Tame, it's Tammy. We learned that today. That was exciting. And tomorrow on the show, which, I mean, we got some time left in the segment, so we can stretch this out. But tomorrow on the show, I'm really excited. We're going to get Sean Reynolds in with a recap of the Oilers and the Jets. We're going to have Paul Hendrick in, formerly of Leafs TV, for the Leafs and Habs preview as they get set for Game 1. Tanner Brightman is going to come on. There's big basketball news in Western Canada. Huge Western Canadian basketball news that we're going to drop tomorrow. And this is what I'm really excited for. And some of you, I mean, I'm 34. So if you're around my age or older, tell me if you remember this name, Dan Moriarty. Do you know Dan Moriarty? I used to watch every Saturday morning. I watched NHL Cool Shots with Dan Moriarty. It was awesome. Made me fall in love with hockey. I mean, Dan Moriarty did NHL Cool Shots, and Brett Lindros, brother of Eric Lindros, hosted NHL Be a Player. This was me as a kid. I mean, it's Sunday morning and Saturday morning. I'm watching these shows back to back, half-hour magazine-style shows that were geared to kids, and I think any hockey fan would love it, to get you to fall in love with the game. We heard stories of the Stanley Cup. We saw, Dennis Leary, big hockey fan. He was interviewed on the show. And Kurt Russell, after he played Herb Brooks in the movie Miracle, he was interviewed. And they took you behind the scenes and told you the stories of the game. It's so cool. So Dan Moriarty is going to come on the show tomorrow, and I'm excited for some of the hockey stories. He's now in Southern California. He's done some work with the San Jose Sharks since he has left. He's doing some great leadership coaching stuff on the business side as well. So I'm excited to reconnect with Dan Moriarty, who I connected with when I was down in L.A. A few years ago now. So it'll be really great to connect with him. When I texted him, he's like, yeah, sure, I'll come on. Really great to hear from you. So Dan Moriarty from NHL Cool Shots. And Ryan McCarthy from New York says, didn't Dan suit up for a couple shifts with the Wild in a preseason game for NHL Cool Shots? He absolutely did. I heard the story, and I'll get Dan to tell it tomorrow. He told me he went to training camp with the Minnesota Wild. That's with Jacques Lemaire, Marian Gaborik. Help me out. Who else was on that expansion Minnesota Wild team? That was fun. That was fun, and he got to play in a preseason game. He's lining up against Paul Kariya and Teemu Selanne. Oh. He's a host of a TV show. It's like you or me lining up in an NHL game, or you lining up in a CFL football preseason game. Mind blown how they let this happen. But
mind blown. I'd have a chance.
Clark says he thinks you'll do okay.
I'll do okay. I get what you're saying.
I would show up the next day in a full body cast, and I wouldn't be able to move.
I'd be able to run away.
You'd at least be able to run away.
I got the speed.
Yeah, exactly. Wayne Grollo says, good show, Dupes and Amanda. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Wayne. Enjoy the game. Tacona Pally, being from Winnipeg and loving the CFL, I'm embarrassed with Commissioner Ambrosi and his misleading of the players and fans. Yeah, but now the owners are going rogue, baby. They're going rogue. And they're telling you that they want to play. At least Bob Young is. Not going to speak for everybody else. And Craig Dickinson thinks they're going to play. He's not an owner. He's the head coach of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. But between him, the Red Blacks have now said that they are with them and will play. So away you go. From the show account, just logged in. Is it Ugly Sweater Day?
Talking to me?
Talking to Amanda? Me?
This. I think he is. That's okay.
All right. Ugly sweater day here in at the RP show. No, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Hey, Vegas is winners. They're coming off a win, even in their series. So Rod's in a good mood today. Clearly,
there we go.
That game went his way. Tonight's game will be fun too. We'll see what happens between the Jets and the Oilers. 7-2, the Oilers against the Jets in the regular season. Do the Jets have some magic in them? We got 1 minute left in this show. So, final thoughts to you. How you feeling? And this is going to be random.
Yeah.
How you feeling about your Chicago Bears?
I'm feeling good, actually.
They had a good draft.
I give them like an A+ draft, to be honest. And with Justin Fields, it gives me hope. I honestly didn't really like Andy Dalton. I'm going to say that, and I know there's going to be some people backlash on me. Justin Fields, you are the future.
And less than 30 seconds. What's up for you this weekend?
Oh, I'm actually starting a speed training camp for athletes at Douglas Park here in Regina, Saskatchewan. It's going to be 2:30 to 3:30. You can sign up by messaging me on Instagram, and I have a link in my bio. It's going to be this weekend to June 10th.
All right, game day. Jets and Oilers. We'll recap it tomorrow and tee up the Leafs and Habs. Throwing a rat.
McFly, hello.